Hi, thanks for joining us for another episode of the Acquire.Fi video series. If you haven't gotten to see any of our previous episodes, you need to go back and binge those because there's a lot of great information about Acquire.Fi floating around out there. Today, we're going to talk to Jan again. Acquire.Fi was truly Jan's brainchild. It was born from a native crypto M&A alpha, deals that originate as private discussions among advisors, their networks about existing founders of crypto companies, the owners of IP who want to liquidate, all of these things wrapped up into one protocol. Former CGO and co-founder of the Yield app, which reached 500 million in managed assets within 6 months of public launch. He also is the former head of marketing for Paxful, where he oversaw the growth of the customer base to more than 4.4 million. Let's go and learn a little bit more about Acquire.Fi from Jan and see what updates we can give based on our previous videos as well. Hey, Jan, thanks for coming back on with us, man.
Hey, thank you, JC, for having me. Always good and always a pleasure.
Absolutely. And I know we've got a lot of great things to talk about here today. Guys, before we dive in and start peppering Jan with questions, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, ring the bell, and do all these things so that you make sure you don't miss any of these great episodes that we put out every week as we get deeper and deeper into this ecosystem and learn more and more leading up to the MVP launch. And we're going to talk a little bit about that later too. So, Jan, Acquire.Fi is going to be home to exclusive M&A deal flow from blockchain and crypto companies. It's going to bring in an inclusive area of wealth creation through acquisitions. Talk to us a little bit about the concept of wealth creation through acquisitions using blockchain and digital assets to do that.
Yeah, for sure. I think the easiest way of building wealth is actually through acquisition. First of all, you're basically buying a product market fit product. Second of all, you're buying a community. And third of all, you're usually buying something that someone else has been building for 2 or 3 years. That means that you get a head start for whatever niche you're trying to get into. And second of all, you don't have to do the hard part of actually getting a product market fit. But
Absolutely.
yeah, Acquire.Fi is basically the best solution for that. We do have some solutions in Web 2. We do have some solutions in traditional finance, but we have nothing like this in Web 3. And I think that's one of the reasons that I'm building and we are building Acquire.Fi. Is
And
to
it's all
basically
about
get, yeah.
bringing in that deal flow and making that available to regular investors, to large investors, really investors of all size getting to take availability of this deal flow to get involved at any level. And again, it's just like you said, they don't have to go out and build this on their own. And there's so many projects like, oh, well, I could build that, but I don't want to build that. I would rather invest in one that's already built up and already turning revenue so that we know right from the start what to expect with that.
No,
Built-in community.
absolutely, absolutely. And there's also Web 2 companies that are trying to get into the space, but for them to get into the space, it would take such a long time to build themselves that they're actually looking for acquisitions. So you're absolutely right. There's like a lot of different niches or a lot of different target groups that are looking at this. And I think the more we grow and get this deal flow going, the more we can offer to different kind of, let's say, people of interest.
Yeah, for sure. And so one way that actually allows people to get more involved in this is through the Acquire.Fi pools or the investment pools, right? So investors, like I mentioned a minute ago, investors big and small, all levels can get in on these pools. Tell us a little bit more about how these pools will work from your perspective and what these investment pools could be.
Hey, yeah, for sure. I think there's several examples we can go through, but first of all, investment pools are the way for you to build your wealth and basically diversify from your crypto portfolio into real world assets. So first of all, these investment pools are real world assets. They can be equity deals, they can be real assets like cars, they can be watches, they can be whatever you can imagine. We will probably have it at some point. Why is this important for you? Is because you can actually start diversifying your portfolio from your crypto assets to real world assets, but still keep them on chain. And I think that's something that excites me a lot because I come from JC, I come from a very crypto native background. I've been in space for 11 years already. And you can imagine that I used to have all my assets on chain, but now I'm starting to diversify. And especially on a downturn like this, it's very important to start to diversify into real world assets that are liquid or are something that you can see that are rising because of inflation.
Right. And that's
Uh,
it. And we had this discussion before we got on today, even that diversifying into real world assets is extremely important. And you're spot on with this. The investment pools, and this is what I told you, what I love about the investment pools as a crypto investor is that this allows me to diversify into real world investments without pulling my money off the chain, because I have a lot of my wealth stored on the blockchain. That's part of something I've done over the last year, is transitioned a lot of my wealth into the blockchain. And I would like to start pulling that back into more real world investments with some realistic yields along with everything else here. And this creates a fantastic opportunity for that moving forward. And there's so many opportunities available, again, from commercial real estate all the way down to watches and luxury items to be part of these pools, things that I wouldn't normally get into in the regular world, right?
no, absolutely. The more we go into this, the more opportunities there are.
For sure.
Me, myself, because I'm a crypto native, I didn't have a lot of knowledge about what real world assets there are that you can actually invest in. But once you go into that world, you can realize that, wow, there's so many different things that you can actually diversify your portfolio with. And I think that's very important. And the more we can educate our community about these real world assets, I think the more we can bring in real world assets on chain. Because the more the community grows, the more assets we can invest in together, and the more we can diversify together our portfolios. So I
Right.
think, yeah, it's very exciting. And people who are watching this video, I really hope that you guys join our Acquire.Fi family and Acquire.Fi community. And yeah, JC, you're absolutely right. Like, I'm very excited.
For sure. And you hit it on the head there, right? It's going to be as much as anything about educating investors, right? We're going to be pulling in a lot of DeFi, DGen type investors, but again, also investors at the institutional level. And we're going to have to teach people that, hey, you can go and you can make some great money on the blockchain in some areas, but you've got to do something with that money to diversify for long-term safety so that you can meet your long-term goals. And these investment pools are the perfect diversification strategy to allow you to get access to real world investments with your on-chain funds. It's so great. So all of the whitelisters, the investors, retail investors, are super excited about the platform and the launch. I know that the devs, legal, marketing, everybody's been working so hard behind the scenes to get the MVP ready for launch. What can we expect for the launch at the end of September, which, as we've talked about before, it's coming at the end of September. What can we expect in that launch at the end of September?
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, we will have M&A marketplace in place, so people can actually put their offers up and running. You can buy and sell your companies very easy. Second of all, we'll have investment pools where people can invest into these real world assets, and you can also stake your token, and that means that you will get some of the platform fees and some of the staker rewards that we are planning to do.
Very cool. And so you're going to start out with M&A deals already in place, because you guys have been working on deal flow for months now. And I believe it's over 60 deals that you've got in the deal flow right now.
Yeah, that's correct. So over 60 deals, we're getting around 3 per week now. It's just getting more and more and more. And I think we're very, very, very sure we're going to be closing up a deal soon. And
Yeah,
that's very
that's
exciting for the token holders and for the stakers and community, because some of those fees are eventually going to the token holders. So
right.
the
And
more
everybody
M&A
that
deals
got in.
yes, so the more M&A deals that we can do, the more it benefits the whole platform and ecosystem.
Yeah,
Um,
super exciting. So
yes.
with that MVP, will there be a secondary NFT marketplace with the MVP? Will that be coming a little bit later? And again, these are for those fractionalized investment pools.
Yeah, so this decentralized marketplace and overall the marketplace itself, that will come a little bit later. But you will be able to, first of all, invest in these investment pools. You will get NFT that represents the value of that pool, and you can trade that NFT in the secondary market.
Right.
If you think about the investment pools, they're SPVs, special purpose vehicles.
Right.
And basically, we're giving out stocks or equity out of those SPVs. And remember, the SPV or investment pool can be whatever. So these NFTs can also be represented by, let's say, equity, farmland, whatever you can imagine, and they will come to your dashboard. And from dashboard, you can either keep it there or transfer them to another place like your MetaMask or a decentralized, let's say, marketplace or whatever.
Very cool. So let's talk a little bit about the Acquire.Fi token launch, which is going to be ACQ. And so tell us about how that token is going to launch and what you can give us on that. And again, I know some things are still a little bit up in the air until we get right up until launch time, but just tell us what you can about that token launch.
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, we've been ramping up with PR. We have some very big PR articles coming up. We have been ramping up the community also. You have been seeing steady growth there. Next month, we will start with a lot of big giveaways. So Acquire.Fi family and community, be ready. There's going to be some very exciting things there. And the token launch itself and MVP will hopefully launch in the end of September. And so far, we also partner up with some really big influencers, and we're trying to get the community more hyped. About exchanges and launchpads, we do have 2 launchpads that we already signed a deal with. I'm not going to disclose which one. And of course, we are trying to get an exchange lineup for that launch to be as successful as possible. But yeah, a lot of exciting things, man. Like, I wish I could show the platform already, but I think that will come in the next video or so.
Actually, next week. And I was just about to talk about that. So, we've kind of covered this, but we can expect this MVP launch towards the end of September. We don't have any exact dates on that yet, but it's coming at the end of September. And like you said, next week, we're going to actually go with Nas and talk to Nas and I believe some of his team as well, and talk about and show some of the screens even. And then after that, in 2 weeks, we're actually going to talk to the founders of Yield Labs. And so that's going to be really exciting to talk to those guys and about what level of involvement they're going to have with some future partnerships with Acquire.Fi as well, right?
Yes, that's correct. And I think the Yield Labs guys, they're very exciting people. So please join and yes, please join and see that episode. And also with Nas, I'm more than happy about the product, what we have. I'm very excited. I'm very excited the deal flows that we are already getting, both in the M&A side, but also in the investment pool side. Like, there's just people coming to us with different ideas, different opportunities. And I think the community will eventually see like, hey, there's a lot of cool stuff that you can actually invest in and get real world yield. And actually, our first investment pool will be something around that. Real world yield, real world assets.
That's great. And that's what it's all about. It's about creating generational wealth through using blockchain and cryptocurrency and then diversifying and doing it all as safely as possible. So I love it.
Oh, absolutely. Really. Absolutely.
Yep. Well, Jan, man, again, thanks so much for taking the time to join me today. I know it's super late there and you've got to get some beauty sleep, but it's been a lot of fun. This was a great episode. I'm excited about this episode and ready to get it out into the hands of everybody. Guys, if you like this episode, like the video, subscribe to the channel, make sure you don't miss our future episodes. Also, down below, you've got links to the Telegram group, all kinds of links down there, a link to the Deal Flow group. So you can actually go right now on Telegram and check out the existing deal flow. There's a channel for that right there. Tells you all about what deals are happening right now. And there's some really cool ones in there. I've been watching it. I've been following it. Really great things coming for the future of Acquire.Fi. And we get a little bit closer every single day.
Hey, very cool. And please join the community. And I'm very excited. I'm super excited. And thanks, JC, again for having me here.
Absolutely. We'll do it again very soon. Thanks, Jan.
Thank you.